All right, good evening, folks. First of all, I'll call to order our regular meeting for September the 15th, 2020. And before I get going, call for the adoption of the agenda in the minutes. I just want to let our listeners know, our viewers and people in the room, that Councillor Davis is on the line with us. Although we can't see her, she's there. So we know she's there, so don't say anything bad about her tonight, guys. She's listening and can contribute if she'd like. She usually do like to do that. So, without any further ado, first of all, the adoption of the meeting agenda for September 15, 2020. Councillor Hillier.
Yes.
Second, Councillor Bursey. All those in favour? Contraminded? Carried. Adoption of the meeting minutes for September the 1st, 2020. Councillor Bent, second. Councillor Bursey, all those in favour? Contraminded? Carried. Business arising from previous minutes? There being none. Visitors, presentations and petitions. I have a proclamation here. Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, September 20th. Town of Conception Bay South. Whereas there are about 10,000 children living with cancer in Canada today, and whereas each year about 1,600 cases are diagnosed, over 25 of which are children in Newfoundland and Labrador, whereas in Canada, childhood cancer remains responsible for more deaths from 1 year through adolescence than any other disease, and whereas about 1 in 4 children who are diagnosed with cancer will die of the disease, whereas because of significant advances in therapy, 78% of children diagnosed with cancer will survive 5 years or more, an increase of almost 46% since the early 1960s. And whereas childhood cancers have close to a 75% cure rate, with leukemia leading the success charge, close to 90% overall cure rate. Now, therefore, I, Terry French, on behalf of the town of Conception Bay South, do hereby proclaim September 2020 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the town of Conception Bay South. Here's another prepared statement that I have. Hurricane and tropical storm season are now upon us, which is why I would like to take this opportunity to discuss the importance of emergency preparedness. Knowing the risks of natural disasters, having the emergency plan in place, and having an emergency kit ready are key elements to ensuring your safety if a significant storm hits. If an emergency happens in our community, it may take emergency workers some time to reach you. That's why residents should be prepared to take care of themselves and their families for at least 72 hours. This means having a stockpile of water and ready-to-eat food. Heating fuel should be on hand, as well as fuel in the car. It's always a good idea to have extra batteries and flashlights readily available as well. If there are severe winds in the forecast, please secure loose items around the house that could blow away and cause damage to nearby homes and cars. Stay in a safe place. Hurricane winds can quickly change in opposite directions or grow stronger. Since we border the coast, and as we've seen in the past, unfortunately, residents should be prepared to move inland and to higher ground if necessary, and we certainly hope none of that ever comes to pass. Being emergency prepared for 72 hours is an important reminder that will help ensure our residents' safety. So thank you very much, and after the last, I guess, year, since 2020 has came in, that's certainly important to keep in mind. Next, we have new business, so we'll start with Deputy Mayor Murphy.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. Just a couple of quick items. Of course, everybody remembers Stormageddon back in January, and I just want to give residents a very brief financial update as to where we are with that. Of course, in our town, we sustained substantial damages throughout our town, and of course, we had to expend money that we really didn't need to, or didn't want to, but we had to anyway. So we've calculated all of our expenses that came out of Stormageddon, and all the paperwork is prepared and it's been submitted to government for funding assistance. That is still in the making. We're still waiting to hear back from that, hopefully soon, sooner than later. And of course, recently the federal government announced some startup funding with respect to COVID-19, and we will certainly be taking advantage of that because, like in any other community in the province or in the country, COVID-19 has caused a fair amount of financial hardship to municipalities. So whatever funding is available in that particular program, we will take advantage of that as well. And just one other thing, Your Worship, something I guess that's a little bit troublesome for me and I guess the rest of council is that lately, of course, the our council has been in the media with respect to certain developments around our community. I'm not going to mention which ones, but I find it troubling that we're basically being accused of not reaching out to residents and business owners in the form of consultation process or not notifying residents that certain projects are taking place. Nothing could be further from the truth, Your Worship. These projects, whether big or small, we always reach out to communities, to the community, to the residents, by way of public ads in the local shoreline paper. We use our social media, our website, and we also go around and hand deliver letters to people that are in the general vicinity or in the immediate area. So for people to say that we're not reaching out, that's not true. Some of the processes require public consultation, and the one that's been talked about recently will have public consultation, I can guarantee you that. So I just want to remind residents that we are in no way, shape, or form trying to cover anything up. We're going to reach out and make sure that the residents are well informed and the residents have ample opportunity to have input into any of these major developments. So that's about it, Your Worship. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Murphy. Councillor Uden.
Thank you, Your Worship. I know I had some comment last week. We weren't wearing masks. We are, and we're all properly social distance, and we all are practicing the recommendations. Councillor Hillier has a Toronto Maple Leafs one. We won't fault him for that, but anyway, we are. Just a couple of things, Your Worship. First and foremost, I'd like to offer congratulations, the happy 25th anniversary to Councillor Tilley. We all know when you elected Gerard, you got 2 for 1, and hopefully now he can do something nice. He's here on his anniversary. He's so dedicated, and by all means, they're pretty active in the community, and I'd just like to wish them all the best on their 25 years, and hopefully you get another. A couple of more things is that the walking track is going to open up on October 3rd with some limited use and reduced capacity, and the appropriate social distancing and restrictions are going to be listed on our website in the next week. And a bit of, I guess we issued a press release earlier today on the pool, and I believe the pool was extensively renovated in 2005, 2006, is coming up on 15 years plus. In our restart, we noticed a small leak, and they've isolated that, and we will know later this week if we've certainly got it, but we think we do, and hopefully we can return to normal and so forth. That's going to delay, I think, our restart by probably a week or so, and we've been in touch with all groups, and as Councillor Murphy said, we've issued a press release to the public to let them know, and we're talking about it here tonight. So fingers crossed. It's an old building, and these things happen, and hopefully we got it addressed, and kids can get back in the pool, and we can open up to the public. That's it, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Uden. Councillor Tilley.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd just like to thank Councillor Uden for the kind words. I mean, over the years, there's been plenty of functions that personal functions that we've either missed due to issues dealing with council, and it's part of the job, and that's what we do. Kirk did mention that we are following our safe distance protocols. I just want to let the public know that Councillor Hillier, with his Toronto Maple Leafs mask, we're taking extra precautions and we're 12 feet apart, so we'll leave it at that. Just to let some residents know, Ward 3, some of the ongoing projects. Finally, after some delays, Phase 2 of the Tillage Road South project is now complete. And of course, that's the storm sewer curb gutter pavement. So quite happy to see that completed, as well as the residents at the beginning of the street. They had some issues with water flow on their properties. And of course, we found some extra money in that project to actually put a gutter out at the end of the road, out by Road 60. So the residents are quite happy with that as well. Sidewalk installation is ongoing on Foxborough Bexus Road as part of Phase 3 of our 3-year plan for sidewalks in the school zones, and that's going to run from Danik out to Foxwood. Some future projects, or in keeping with Tillage Road South, as part of our 2020 street upgrading, we started construction work from Kimbar into the end of Tillage Road South. So we ask folks in that area to be patient as well with all the construction. Some future road work that we do have ongoing as well that will be completed this construction season. Middlebite Road and the installation of sidewalks on Route 60 between Redbridge Road and Hines Road in the vicinity of Admiral's Academy and St. Edward's School. Thank you.
Yes, Your Worship, I took the opportunity on Sunday morning to go down to Topsail Beach and check out the new trail that the East Coast Trail have been working on there all summer. I was there at one point. I believe they said there were 22 people working there at one point in time, and they were slogging crushed stone in 2 kilometres by hand in beef buckets at that point in time. So they punched in a lot of hard work, and so I was down Sunday morning, went for a walk down there, and it's a fabulous trail. But as we know, it's the first kilometre, it'll be the new first kilometre of the East Coast Trail, heading north and then south down to Cappahayden, 300 kilometres in all. So I walked in 2 kilometres, walked back out again 2 kilometres, and there's no doubt that it's a first-class facility. And give an indication how many people are using that area. There were 28 cars there at 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Not a really great morning as it was. So it's going to be a busy spot, and we know that Councillor Bent has been working very hard to seek a balance between the needs of visitors and the people who live down there this summer. One thing that I did notice is that I know in the past we've tried to limit fires to the beach area, but it seems that the fireplaces have snuck up onto the main grassy area, and I know in the past at times we cleaned that up and sent the message that fires would be on the beach. So I'd like to pass that along, I guess, to Recreation to see if we can't get that tied up, because that is truly a showpiece of the town, and we want to make sure we keep it nice and tidy. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Councillor Bent.
Thank you, Your Worship. And just a little further with Topsail Beach, as Councillor Hillier mentioned, the Recreation Committee is now working towards a design to upgrade the playground that had to be adjusted last year because it was, it was old and needed repairs and so forth. So work is underway to get us to a new playground in that area that works well with the layout of the beach and is accessible so that people can get to it easily and so forth. You made your proclamation this evening, Your Worship, on Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and Conception Bay South has seen its more than its fair share sometimes, I think, of childhood cancer. And of course, we remember Caden Little from a couple of years ago in his battle, and of course Riley and Alex Mercer, who lost their brave battle with cancer a few years ago. And this year marked the 8th annual Ride for Riley motorcycle fundraiser. And of course this year, because of COVID, we didn't see the 100+ motorcycle riders out. But Louise and Bernie Mercer did hold a smaller version of it and raise money online, and through the help of the town and ads and so forth, we're proudly able to raise over $19,000 to go to the Jack Hand Legacy Foundation. And that's a foundation founded in the memory of the Jack Hand. Dr. Hand was, of course, Riley's doctor. And they raised 19,000 plus this year with just 32 riders and all kinds of fantastic donations from the community and people around to support the cause. And that money from the Jack Hand Foundation goes to help and support families whose children have cancer and the expenses that they suffer. And of course, some of that money has stayed right here in Conception Bay South. So very pleased that Louise and Bernie were able to, again, honor the memory of Riley and Alex through this annual ride, which is, it's an established Conception Bay South motorcycle ride now that draws lots of people, and hopefully they'll be back out with a big event again next year post-COVID. And of course, being able to honor the children's memories in this way is fantastic. And a big thank you to the community for coming out and supporting online this year, and once again making a great contribution to this wonderful foundation that helps families who are in suffering some of the worst anguish and pain that any of us could possibly imagine. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Bent. Councillor
I'll
Bursey.
pass the evening, Your Worship.
Good this evening. Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. A few highlights from the economic and development and tourism area for our residents and for other councillors I want to share. Firstly, Topsail Homes and Heritage Walk. The fall is a beautiful time for a walk, and certainly a beautiful day today for one for sure, through this historic neighbourhood, which has been completed with new signage along the stops of this self-guided tour. The brochure that corresponds to each stop is located on the heritage page of the town's website. This is another initiative completed as a result of the town's tourism development strategy. TD Tree Days. The town has been successful in receiving funding totaling $8,000, which will see the planting of 54 trees at 3 personal care homes, as well as the Gateway Community Garden. Planting will take place this weekend, and the town would like to thank the Community Garden Committee and the TD Canada Trust for their continued support of tree planting initiatives in the town. A book library. I am delighted to again applaud the Community Garden Committee for installing a free little book library at the Manuels River Community Garden. Plans are also underway to place one at the library at the Gateway Garden. And lastly, the Digital Storytelling Initiative. We have had great interest in our digital storytelling initiative and continue to add stories as they are captured. I encourage anyone who has a story to tell that captures the heritage and culture of the town of Conception Bay South to reach out to us so we can arrange to capture the story. And I'm sure there are many, many of them. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. And Councillor Davis is on the line, but she's going to defer tonight. I got a couple of things I want to talk about. The first one, I guess, is sidewalks. I had a very interesting conversation with a retired educator who lives in the Upper Gullies area this week, and I know we talk about it a lot, the commitment we've made to sidewalks over, but we can't repeat it enough, and I think Councillor Murphy, Deputy Mayor Murphy may have spoken with her as well. And I'm certainly not going to mention her name because I didn't even tell her that I would be bringing this up, but it just goes to show we have to continue to reiterate some of the things that we've done over the last 3 years, and we all here at this table made a commitment to sidewalks, especially in school zones, and we've invested about $500,000 a year, and we continue to do that, and we're committed to doing that for the 4 years. And we have knocked off, I'm not going to put our director on the spot now, but we've put a lot of money and covered an awful lot of ground in school zones in the last 3 years. I'm going to continue to do it. And Councillor Tilley mentioned in his go-around the continuation of sidewalks on the Foxtrap Access Road. And keeping in mind that this is something that council does on its own. This is not something we can do with resources that we match with other governments. It doesn't work like that. So the province and the feds don't kick in. We do it ourselves. So it's a big commitment for us to pull $500,000 a year out of our general revenue, but we do it, and we're going to continue to do it, and we're committed to doing it. And somewhere down Life's Road, hopefully we'll get 1.6 kilometres around every school, but as most know, we have 9 schools in our area, and some of them are pretty good based on previous work of other councils and so on. So we're getting there. Bear with us. But, you know, it's not beyond this council realize the importance of it, and so sometimes we've kept investing in it. And I know I don't speak for everyone in this council, but I can assure you that's one area where I do speak for everyone, because I know everybody here is committed to school safety, and especially around our school zones. Just want to speak a little bit again to highlight something that Deputy Mayor Murphy said about, you know, not being engaged enough in the public. And believe me, we try to do that as much as possible. And Deputy Mayor Murphy outlined some of the things that we do. But, you know, we're always very conscious. And even tonight in our meeting, before the council meeting, we discussed it again and trying to come up with more ways that we can let the public know exactly what's going on. But there's certain things from a development perspective that, as if it falls within the regulations that we've established. I mean, the council don't know of every permit for a house, for example, that's being built, or every development, simply because it doesn't require it. If council had to meet regarding everything that was done in this town, I mean, literally hundreds and hundreds of applications and calls, the system would never work. So I just want to let people know and reiterate what Deputy Mayor Murphy said. Look, we're trying to be as open as we possibly can. We have nothing to gain personally by this stuff. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite. The more input we have from outside, the better. I think we've done, you know, people might disagree with this, but I know on the drill mud application, I thought we did a great job. We kept people informed, and Councillor Bent was on that. Councillor Hillier, of course, as well. I think we did a great job of getting the message out and keep enforcing it. And everything that comes up, we'll try to do that. So, you know, it's nothing intentional, but, you know, if you believe that you need some more information, by all means, contact one of us. And, you know, we'll do our best to get as much information out in the general public as we possibly can. I just want to say tonight we talked again about doing more work on our trail system. As most of you know, there was quite a bit of damage done along the rail bed, the old rail bed, and we've been struggling because we've been waiting for the go-ahead, if you will, that we have money approved from our provincial through federal counterparts. And it was mentioned here earlier, the Deputy Mayor mentioned that, and we're still trying to chase that down. We have no firm commitments yet. However, we're still plowing ahead and doing as much as we can afford to do. So that's something that we're going to do again now, take another step and hopefully knock some more of that trail off and bring it up to the level that it was at prior to the storm. I'm delighted to say as well that we've also agreed tonight that the Fox Trap Harbour Authority is a viable piece to our community and our tourism and our marketing and our bringing people to Conception Bay South to allow people to have use of places to put their boat in the ocean. After the summer that we've had, and a good one it was, if you look out on the bay any given night, there have been quite a few people out on the water enjoying it. And the Fox Trap Marina is one place where people can go and launch their boat. And the Fox Trap Harbour Authority keeps that up. So in lieu of taxes again this year, we're going to do $10,000. We're going to work an agreement with them, with some conditions, of course. We previously had an MOU with them, and we're hoping to extend that for a 3-year period, which is something that we're all looking forward to, and appreciate the work that the Harbour Authority does to provide that service for residents. I want to say one more thing, and it's kind of awkward because I've been totally absent from the debate on what's happening at the Long Pond Port. And that's not by choice, believe me, because I have some very strong opinions on it, and it's very hard for someone with my personality to sit on my tongue. But that's exactly what I'm doing in this case, simply because I own a property. As most people know, I've lived there my lifetime. Well, I think the house we're joking about was 50 years old this summer. So I lived there most of that, and it's still in my family, obviously. So it's because of that I can't participate in the discussion of the things that are happening at Long Pond Port. It kills me to stay out of this debate, but it's apparently what you have to do when you sign on for these jobs. So I'll leave it at that, other than to say that's why I'm absent, is because there is a conflict of interest, because I own a property at the beginning of Terminal Road, which most of the residents here that have any history in the town realize. So that's why I'm not involved in that debate, and I believe the Deputy Mayor has been carrying most of the load on that so far. So that's where I'll leave that one. And without further ado, we'll move on. So the recommendations of the Planning and Development Committee, Chair Councillor Rex Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship, these are recommendations brought forward from our September 8th, 2020 committee meeting. Proposed accessory building recommendation, be it so resolved that application number 2020-069 for a 7.9 metre by 9.75 metre accessory building to be constructed in the front yard of the property at 92 Lawrence Pond Road East be approved in accordance with Councillor's authority under section 5.3.12 of the town's development regulations. So moved. Yes, Your Worship, the reason why this is here tonight is normally our accessory buildings are in the back lot of properties, and in this case that wasn't possible, and we have allowed it on larger lots where screening can take place by existing trees and so on. That's the case here.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Number 2, be it so resolved that application number 2020-160 for a proposed stream crossing and culvert at 184 Foxtrot Access Road be refused, as the proposal is premature by virtue that there is no pending or approved development plan for the area. So moved.
Yes, Your Worship, I'll be voting in favor of the recommendation. I've been speaking to the applicant on several occasions through email and phone. It was my understanding that all the I's have been dotted and T's were crossed, but that's obviously not the case, so I'll certainly be recommending voting in favor of this recommendation.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 3, expropriation 15 Lawrence Pond Road. Be it so resolved that should an appraisal be necessary, the town engage Kirkland Balsam Associates, ARA, to appraise the value of an easement to be expropriated along with the value of
Seconder? Councillor Tilly, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Seconder? Councillor Uden? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, thank you, Councillor Hillier. Next, we have the recommendations of the Engineering and Public Works Committee. Chair, Councillor Bursey.
Yes, Your Worship, there was no meeting held on that date, but I'd like to have a few public reminders. So the first one is a bulk waste drop-off 2020 fall dates. A reminder to the public that bulk waste drop-off program, which is open to all of Conception Bay South residents, is scheduled for Saturday, September 19th at the arena parking lot. The September 19th date is coordinated with the 3-hour challenge this year to provide a holistic community cleanup event. Respecting current government directives, residents will be asked to offload their own waste. Bins will be open from 8:30 to 4 or closed whenever the bins have been filled. Future dates for the fall program are located on the town's website. The second one is a traffic disruption for Evergreen Town Road detour. Please be advised the infrastructure upgrades to the culvert over Stady Brook on Greeleytown Road will begin on Monday, September 14, 2020. A detour will be in place for approximately 2 weeks. Traffic traveling south of the culvert should use Glebe Road and Dunza Road detour signage in this place. No sections of Greeleytown Road will remain open to local residents and emergency vehicles only, although the road will be impassable at the location culvert. For all construction updates and further program details, please visit the town website at conceptionbaysouth.ca. That's all, Your Worship. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Bercy. Next, we have recommendations, Recreation and Leisure Services Committee Chair, Councillor Uden.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a blanket recommendation, but I will just quickly highlight that it's great that we've coordinated the bulk garbage with the 3-hour challenge. We got 400 residents registered for this Saturday. So get out. It's a great time to spruce up your community, and whether or not you're formally registered or not, it's a great thing to do, and we've certainly had success over the years. The second note, on Sunday is a busy weekend. Many residents have signed up to virtually run for the Terry Fox Run. I'm sure everybody here has been touched with cancer, and I do not believe there's any better foundation that's invested in cancer research as the Terry Fox Foundation. So get out there, support runners, support the Terry Fox Foundation if you got a chance. That being said, the blanket recommendation and decisions made for the Recreation and Leisure Services Committee, be it so resolved that the recommendations, decisions made at the Recreation and Leisure Services meeting of September 9th be accepted as presented. So moved. Thank you.
Seconder? Councillor Bercy. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, recommendation to the Financial and Administrative Service Committee, Chair Deputy Mayor Murphy.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. The first recommendation comes from the Committee of the Whole meeting number 15, held today. Be it so resolved that the order issued on July 3rd, 2019, under the Municipalities Act 1999, the Waste Disposal and Property Regulations, the Occupancy and Maintenance Regulations, and the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, ordering the removal of all debris, including household items and own machinery, stack file the wood, as well as complete the repairs to an accessory building located at number 869 Conception Bay Highway, be rescinded. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Tilley. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
The next are recommendations coming out of the meeting held on September the 8th, 2020. The accounts payable check register, be it so resolved that approval be given to pay accounts payable checks totaling $384,099.11. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Butler. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
The next one is ratification of manual checks previously released. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify the payment of manual checks previously released totaling $80,518.90. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Tilley. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Your Worship, I'm going to ask Councillor Tilley to bring forward the next one because I have to declare conflict of interest.
Okay. Councillor Tilley.
Thank you, Your Worship. This has to do with, the recommendation has to do with capital invoices. This is work that's been carried out, and we're just paying our bills. Be it so resolved that approval be given to approve capital invoices totaling $915,375.47 as listed below. So moved.
Seconder?
Second.
Councillor Hiller. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we'll call Deputy Mayor Murphy back, please.
Approval to call tender fire department uniforms. Be it so resolved that approval be given to call a 2-year tender for the supply and delivery of uniforms for the staff of the Conception Bay South Fire Department. Funds are available in the so noted account. So moved.
Second, Councillor Bent. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Approval to call a standing offer, Fire Department protective equipment. Be it so resolved that approval be given to call a 3-year tender for the supply and delivery of protective equipment for the staff of the Conception Bay South Fire Department, and funds are available in the so noted account. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Butler. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And the final one, Your Worship, is be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions made at the Financial and Administrative Services Committee meeting of September the 8th, 2020 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Bercy. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. All right, the recommendation of the Economic Development and Tourism Committee, Chair Councillor Christine Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. Presentation of recommendations of meeting held on September 8th. The first one is to downtown CBS, or downtown Conception Bay South. Recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be granted for the appointment of Emma Dooley of Funky Junk Home Decor to the Downtown Conception Bay South Board of Management, effective immediately. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Bent. Discussion?
Your Worship, I just wanted to say a few words, having served on the Downtown CBS Committee for a few years and being familiar with Emma Dooley. I think she's a fantastic addition to that group, a local entrepreneur and a very well established artist in the community. I think she's going to bring a great deal of insight and thinking to this committee, and I think it'll be a great addition to boosting and expanding the downtown CBS core. So it's great to have Emma Dooley come forward and sit on this committee, and I expect big things. Thank you, Your Worship.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And the blanket recommendation, be it so resolved that the recommendation decisions made at the Economic Development and Tourism Committee meeting of September 8th, 2020 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor DeHiller. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. All right, thank you, Councillor Butler. Other committee reports? There being none, call for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Tilley, second by Councillor Butler. And good night, folks. Thanks very much.